Honorable Sheikh Modialta, MP, Minister of Lusaka Province, and our guest of honor today, Excellencies, Ambassadors, and High Commissioners, fellow Rwandans, members of media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the High Commission of the Republic of Rwanda, and on my own behalf, let me begin by warmly welcoming and thanking all of you for joining us in commemorating the 28th anniversary of the genocide against the Tutsi. I also wish to thank the guest of honor for taking time out of her busy schedule to be with us as we remember and honor of 1 million children, youth, women, men, and the elderly who were killed for the sole reason that they were considered Tutsi by their killers. Our dark history is indeed stark evidence of what bad governance can lead to. The genocide perpetrated against the Tutsi teaches us to be resilient and to seek in ourselves the energy to overcome any threat. The ongoing global fight against the COVID-19 pandemic has recently taught us that only shared humanity can help us stem any threat to human beings. This year's commemoration events are held under the theme Kwibuka28. I quote, "We choose to stay together." As we commemorate under the theme, it is important for us to remember that it is the ideology of extreme hate that motivated the planning and the execution of the genocide. The last phase of genocide, which is genocide denial, is again informed by the same genocide ideology. In the case of Rwanda, this phase has seen genocide perpetrators in jurisdiction around the world and their sympathizers engage in denial and trivialization of genocide while distorting the truth of what happened. It is therefore essential that Rwanda and the international community continue to collaborate to fight the culture of impunity by bringing to justice those suspected of having participated in the 1994 genocide against Tutsi. International jurisdiction where many genocide perpetrators continue to evade justice, we need to adopt laws punishing the crime of genocide and negations in tandem with the UN Security Council Resolution 2115-2014 of 16 April 2014, which outlines to the UN member countries to recommit to the prevention fight against genocide and other serious crimes under international law. An international collective fight against genocide crimes and the genocide ideology and preserving the history of the genocide not only fights impunity but also guards against the reoccurrence of genocide anywhere else. Never again. In support of the preservation of the memory and for ensuring that there is a sustainable reflection of the unimaginable tool of genocide on humanity, the UN General Assembly, through the resolution 74/273, designated the 7th of April as an International Day of Reflection on the genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda. We once again thank all countries, including those on the African continent, that supported the passing of this important resolution. Guests of honor, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this darkest period of Rwanda's history was accumulation of ethnic-based politics and animosity whose roots are a part of our colonial legacy. The creation and escalation of ethnic tensions was used by our colonial masters in their quest to conquer our people through divide and rule policies. Rwandans have previously existed in harmony for centuries. We speak the same language, we share the same culture, and we inhabit the same land. In 1935, our colonial masters initiated a policy that was unprecedented in Rwandan history. They transformed the then existing social class distinction into ethnic distinctions. Rwandans were subjected to undignified physical body feature measurement as a criteria for ethnic differentiation. On this basis, national identification cards with the classification of 3 ethnic identities were used. The ethnic-based politics, characterized by the first 2 post-colonial governments, was to later climax into the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. And during that genocide in 1994, the national identification cards were used in identifying those meant for killing at roadblocks, which were manned by militia known as Imerahamwe, as well as government armed force of the time. The media was also actively mobilized to promote and condone the killing spree. It took a period of 100 days for the killing of over 1 million Tutsi and moderate Hutus from April to July 94 to ensure. Tragically, all were mindlessly killed at the hands of a government that was otherwise meant to protect and provide for them. Guests of honor, Excellencies, fellow Rwandans, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it was the courageous effort of the then Rwanda Patriotic Front, RPF, under the command of President Paul Kagame, that moved in quickly to liberate the country and stop the genocide on 4th July 1994. This country, the post-genocide government inherited what many in the international community believed was a condemned failed state. Against all odds, not least genocidaires that were organizing a campaign to finish their genocide agenda, the post-1994 government reorganized the country from a near failed state to a formidable nation that to date enjoys peace and serenity. We remain thankful for the unity of purpose they have been able to build and for every turning around Rwanda's fortunes. It is worth mentioning that post-1994, Rwanda has enjoyed steady economic growth, averaging 80% for nearly 2 decades now. Rwanda's GDP grew by 10.9% in 2021, up from a contraction of 3.4% in 2020, which was largely due to the negative impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. It's important to note that the government of Rwanda respects the freedom of speech as enshrined in the Article 38 of our Constitution. The laws regulating media in Rwanda, with their application orders, were enacted to ensure the implementation of this principle of the freedom of press, expression and access to information declared by Rwanda's Constitution. However, the law on the crime of genocide ideology and related crimes punishes those who spread genocide ideology and hate speech. Guest of honor, excellencies, fellow Rwandans, ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude my remarks, 20 years after the genocide against the Tutsi was stopped, Rwandans understand the real causes of the destruction of the unity they held and how hatred, divisions, and killings were made possible between what was gathered as ethnic groups. Rwandans also know the role of some post-colonial Rwandan leaders that lead up to the disastrous period of the genocide perpetrated against the Tutsi in 1994. Rwandans have learned that one bird in hand is worth two in the bush, and they have discovered the strength and willingness to overcome critical situations and build a resilient society that serves as a lesson to other countries. All this means a new history and heritage to be preserved, and they remain the foundation of Rwanda's development. Murakoze cyane, thank you very much. Zikomo, and God bless you all.